All right, I call this meeting to order. The Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders, Thursday, June 18th, 2020, agenda setting meeting. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Certainly, Chairman. Freeholder Garrettson,
Here.
Freeholder Granados,
Here.
Freeholder Hudak,
Present.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Here.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Here.
Freeholder Staton, Freeholder Williams,
Here.
Vice Chairman Estrada,
Present.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Present.
Chairman, you have 8 freeholders present.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Please lead us in the prayer and the salute to the flag.
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're all back. Very good. Clerk of the Board, please read the statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
Certainly, Chairman. The chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of the New Jersey statutes annotated Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstance to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 in the Administration Building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 with the Office of County Clerk.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to another remote meeting of the Freeholder Board. As is our custom, we will begin with a heartfelt thanks to all the people of Union County who are looking out for one another, taking care of each other during this COVID-19 outbreak. Because of your efforts, we've achieved remarkable progress together. I have to say, it is distressing to see other parts of the country may not be taking simple life-saving precautions, but it makes me appreciate our Union County family even more. So please, as we start to reopen more county facilities, keep up the good work and be safe. Wear masks, observe social distance, wash your hands, and stay home if you feel sick. And of course, if you need a COVID test, you can get that test free at the drive-through test center at Kean University. Go to ucnj.org to book an appointment. There's a lot to catch up on, so I'll try to be brief. But once again, I'd like to draw your attention to the waves of protests following the death of George Floyd. On behalf of this Freeholder Board, I reaffirm our support for communities here in Union County, across our country, that come together peacefully and safely to raise their voice in support of justice and equality. Racism has been embedded in the bones of this country for more than 400 years. But we can and we will raise these voices and put an end, finally, this generation, to stop it once and for all. Since Juneteenth is tomorrow, I think this is a fitting time to remind everyone that on this date, we mark the issuance of General Order Number 3 on June 19th, 1865. General Order Number 3 informed the people of Texas that slaves were free in accordance with the proclamation, the Emancipation Proclamation. And it was very specific about the meaning of the word free. General Order Number 3 declared that freedom involves an absolute equality of personal rights. Absolute equality. 155 years ago. So this Juneteenth, above all others, let's remember that we have the power to make those words come true. And now I would like to thank all of those who are involved with food donations and their continued support during this crisis. Thanks to the generosity, thousands of Union County households are able to put food on the table. To help our displaced workers during this outbreak, earlier this month, we also launched the new Union County Works website. It's under the umbrella of the Union County American Job Center, and the goal is connecting job seekers with employers and resources. If you're a job seeker or an employer, please check out ucnj.org. And to assist our municipalities, the county has distributed face masks and other equipment to local agencies. And now I have the following updates on county services, beginning with our Parks Department. In accordance with statewide public health orders, golf courses and archery ranges reopened last month. And as of last weekend, we also reopened tennis courts and the dog parks, again, following state guidelines. We are now accepting reservations for picnic areas. The first available date will be July 1st, but you can visit ucnj.org to book a reservation online now. Also, in accordance with statewide orders, the limit on gatherings in Union County parks is currently 100 people. It will rise to 250 people on June 22nd and 500 people on July 3rd. I want to emphasize that this is made possible by the continued vigilance of Union County residents, all working together for a common cause. So please continue to observe COVID prevention guidelines while enjoying your outdoor activities. The Parks Department is also cautiously restarting its recreation programs, beginning with free drive-in movies. The drive-in format is recognized as a safe option, and we will continue to seek additional opportunities that are consistent with public health guidelines. With the July 7th primary election less than 3 weeks away, I have an important update from Union County Clerk Joanne Rajapi and Union County Board of Elections Administrator Nicole Dorado. The County Clerk and the Board of Elections offices are now open for extra hours for voters who would like to deliver their vote in person. Please note that all visitors to these offices must wear masks and observe social distance. For office locations, instructions on how to fill out your vote by mail ballot and other updates about the coming election, visit ucnj/county clerk or ucnj.org/BOE, Board of Elections. And last but certainly not least, June is Pride Month. Though we cannot celebrate together in person as one family, the Office of LGBTQ Affairs has put together a week-long series, Pride in Place, online events that include something for all ages from June 22nd to June 26th. You can get all the details on the website, ucnj.org/LGBTQ, but I want to share with you some of the information now and encourage you to join in virtually. The social distance rules have been difficult for everyone, and all the more reason people have been isolated by prejudice and estrangement from their own families. So please reach out to the Office of LGBTQ Affairs if you are looking for ways to connect or need help. The Pride and Play series starts with Drag Queen Story Hour next Monday, June 22nd. Our host will be Harmonica Sunbeam, and she will guide the audience through children's stories, sing-alongs, and rainbow craft. We know harmonica very well in this county. The series also includes LGBTQ Trivia Night on June 23rd, a Beauty Queen makeup demo on June 24th, and a pasta party cooking demonstration on June 26th. There will also be a Lunch and Learn town hall event during this week with our own Freeholder Williams participating as a panelist, and many more activities you can do at home. on a more serious note, on June 25th, Pride in Place will feature a panel discussion, justice and other related issues, and as I said, will be moderated by Freeholder Williams. I'd like to say a few words about the recent impact of LGBTQ rights. In this day and age, no one should face discrimination based on their sexual orientation or gender identity. It's just that simple. And yet, here we are today with the highest elected representatives in the land deploying the full force of the federal government to trample on human rights. Last Friday, the Trump administration issued a final rule that erased healthcare protections for people who are transgender. In what has become an all too familiar act of malicious symbolism, the announcement occurred during Pride Month and on the anniversary of the 2016 Pulse nightclub shooting. Surely there was no coincidence. I'm certain I speak for the entire board in condemning the rollback. I am also certain that we all strongly affirm Monday's historic Supreme Court decision. The 6-3 majority, the court determined that Title VII of the 1964 Civil Rights Act bans discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or sexual gender and identity. The majority decision was written by Justice Neil Gorsuch, and he explained why a law passed by different legislators in a different era almost 50 years ago is still relevant today. The limits of drafters' imagination supply no reason to ignore the law's demands, he wrote. My friends, I know we can do better than that. Let's all reaffirm our commitment to seek injustice wherever it may be, in every nook and corner. Let's imagine the day when laws of the land guarantee every person in this great nation that can live on equal footing with each other. And let's make it happen now in our lifetimes. With that, I have one last reminder before we turn to a nice agenda. After the meeting, please turn and tune to the Union County Home Haircut Challenge on Facebook to watch myself and my Freeholder colleagues, Vice Chairman Estrada, Freeholder Hudak, and Freeholder Granados, and our esteemed county manager all get our haircuts. We've taken up this challenge, and please join us online to watch this happen. I know my wife is excited. We're all going to get our hair cut, and we raised money for a wonderful charity, the YWCA, that really is putting
Shave our
a
beard,
spot.
too.
And the beard, too. Yes, Vice Chairman.
Thank you.
Take it all.
Phyllis is more excited about that part, I think. But this charity is wonderful. It will highlight the eradication of racism. It's working towards social justice and domestic violence awareness. I mean, there's a wonderful charity, and I'm glad that we all came together. And I thank the many sponsors who have jumped in to donate to this cause. But we've all been inspired by many creative ways to raise funds for the cause, and we're looking forward to that tonight. The funds will go to the nonprofit organization that we indicated, and I think we're all looking forward to that. And I am too. All right, so we will move on to our agenda. All right. And we have communications that we will approve at the regular meeting, follow this agenda meeting. And I know that the county clerk has sent in a resolution for consideration. Ed, do you want to talk for a couple of seconds on that resolution?
Thank you, Chairman. The county clerk has one item on tonight's agenda, and I will be filling in for Joanne. This is to increase the printing for the provisional ballots based on expected turnout at each of the polling locations. This will ensure that there's 100 provisional ballots at each polling machine for primary day, which is coming up in 3 weeks. And I'll be happy to answer any questions the best I can on behalf of the county clerk.
Thank you, County Manager Oatman. Any questions for the county manager through the clerk? Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Ed, for filling in. We'll move on to the Prosecutor of Union County, Lindsay Rotolo.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. Prosecutor's Office has one resolution on the agenda for your consideration. I'm happy to address any questions.
Thank you, Madam Prosecutor. Is there any questions for the prosecutor? Wait, let me put my hands up thing. Hold on, I got it. All right, I don't see any hands up. Hold on, gang. Okay. All right, I don't see any hands up. Thank you, Madam Prosecutor.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the Department of Administrative Services. I see Director Scutari.
Hi, good evening. The Department of Administrative Services has 8 resolutions on the agenda. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Director. Any questions for Director Scutari? Okay, I don't see any. Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
We will move on right now to the Department of Economic Development, Deputy County Manager Wagner.
Good evening, freeholders. The Department of Economic Development, has 3 resolutions for your consideration, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, very good. Freeholders, any questions? Yes, Freeholder Granados, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Deputy County Manager, can you just elaborate on number 1, please?
Absolutely. So every year at the end of the grant term, we reevaluate where we are, how much money we have left, and whatever we do have available, we provide back to the county for indirect costs. Things like the operation of the space in this building, salaries for people that are not covered by the grant, such as the county manager or myself, for work that we do on that grant. This year, we were able to actually give back a significant amount of money, and that's largely because we're at the end of the grant cycle and have not been able to provide training services to our constituency because of the COVID-19 virus.
Thank you, Deputy County Manager. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Freeholder Granados. Anyone else? Doesn't look like it. Thank you, Deputy County Manager. We will move on to the Department of Engineering, Public Works, and Facilities Management, and Director Graziano.
Good evening, Chairman and freeholders. I have 7 items on the agenda tonight for your consideration. I'll try and answer any questions you have.
Okay, Director, Freeholder Granados is first.
Thank you, Chairman. If you can just elaborate on number 1, Director, I see it's a reduction. Can you just elaborate on the reduction, please?
Sure. Yeah, this was the bridge that we did up in the reservation. It got completed a little bit earlier than expected. So the reason there's, such a decent size reduction on the contract is we didn't use a lot of the police allowance that we needed. There was also some drainage behind the walls that wasn't needed that they thought they were. That's about a $50,000 reduction alone in that. So included with the with the lack of the police needed, also flaggers weren't needed. It was in such a remote location up in the reservation. So between those 3 items, we saved about $100,000 on the project.
Thank you. It's always definitely great when there's a reduction. So thank you, Director, and thank you, Chairman.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you, Freeholder. Director, just one question for me. Number 7, can you just talk a little bit about what that is for?
Sure. We've been there was talk about some of the townships possibly wanting to either close a county road or close like a parking area along their roads to allow the restaurants that are in their towns to expand their outside dining, to give them a little more business during this tough time right now. So we just did a general resolution on this, just in case we do get asked, that we can give permission as of today, since we're not going to meet again until the end of July. So, between myself, between the county manager and county council, we decided this was the best route to go to get this resolution on tonight, to have any town, if they were thinking about it, to at least talk to us about it. And, there's some options on how they want to do it, and just to have them submit a plan to us. And then we would approve the plan, obviously through the police, to make sure it was safe. And then we would allow them through this resolution to do that on our roads.
Good, Director. That's what I thought it was about, and I do know some towns are considering that. Outdoor dining started on Monday.
Yes.
For restaurants that were ready to do that, they certainly had the option. And we have found that many restaurants are being very creative to try to, have some tables and get back up and running. And we want to do our part to make it easy and help them. If they feel like that would help them, then they should, through their townships, inquire about road closures and the like. So that's great.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Any other questions, Freeholder Hudak?
Thanks, Chairman. Just a follow-up question regarding number 7. Just wanted to clarify because I've gotten some inquiries from local business in various towns. Any decisions in terms of, for example, reclaiming municipal parking spots, with flowers or dividers or anything like that? That's ultimately going to be a municipal decision. It's not necessarily the county's choice, correct?
Yes. The reason the townships or the municipalities would be coming to us would be because it is on a county road. They would have to come up with a plan. We'd have to at least accept that plan through county council, through the police, make sure it's a safe plan, whether it's Jersey barriers, whether it's planters like you just mentioned, or something like that to do that. Yeah, but it would ultimately come from the township, us, and they would use whatever equipment they have. We wouldn't be lending out our equipment for them on their roads. So yeah, again, all parking is a responsibility of the municipalities throughout the county, and this their own parking on their roads. So yes, it would come from them.
Do we have any of these agreements in the hopper yet? They're just waiting for this action from the Freeholder board.
So far, I do not. I don't know about county council or the county manager or even the Freeholder chair if he's heard of any towns that have come to me. I mean, early on, and that's why we brought this to the table. But no one's called me since then.
Yeah,
right.
I do know Freeholder. A lot of towns, at least I know some towns, looked into it, and then as they spoke with their businesses, they were less inclined to close the entire road, and they just try to maximize space in front of their business. Some are putting tents up, some are using adjacent property, so there was less a need to close the actual roads. But I am glad that the county manager and Director Graziano at least put a mechanism.
Sure. I was thinking, and I tend to agree with you. I know a couple towns have already looked at doing, I guess, Saturday night events, but not on county roads. It was more the, and again, this is just, layman's opinion. I see the parking lane closures as probably being something more that the municipalities are going to want to utilize because it's just reclaiming that extra square footage, especially for these restaurants that don't have the frontage with the sidewalks in front of their spots. But just an inquiry. I didn't know if anything was on its way. And I'm sure the county manager and deputy county manager will do a good job of getting this information out into the municipalities. I look forward to seeing more restaurants open soon. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder. And I will give the county manager a lot of credit because he wanted to look more holistically at the traffic patterns as it impacted different towns and not handle it on a one-off basis, but, how does the traffic patterns, impact the entire flow of traffic around the county. So I give him credit for having that foresight to say we need more of a regional type plan in certain areas that we weren't clogging up traffic and making it difficult in other parts or other towns. So good all around logic. All right. I don't see any other hands. We will move to the Department of Human Services. Director Anderson.
Hi, good evening, Chairman and members of the board. The Department of Human Services has 6 resolutions on tonight, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Very good. Thank you, Director. Freeholders, I will look to see if there's any questions. Okay, Freeholders, Vice Chairman Estrada.
No, I had asked my consultant, my wife here, about raising my hand, but I got it. She took care of it. Free of charge.
The brief blip of a hand raise. All right, very good. Anybody else have a question for Director Anderson? I see Freeholder Granados.
Thank you, Chairman. I know number one is a program that I know we've talked about many times before, Director. If you can just elaborate on that program, please, intervention program.
The Children's Specialized Program, working with Children's Specialized Hospital, really working with, I would say, at-risk early intervention kids that are on the verge of being diagnosed for special needs, and working with their families on the case management side, the individual service development plan, to make sure that that child is successful in life. So it is a wonderful program that the Freeholder Board supports every year.
Okay. Freeholder?
Hold on.
We'll move on to Freeholder Williams.
Hi, Director Anderson. Yeah, I had a question. Well, actually, if you could just give a little bit more detail on number 3, the supernova.
Absolutely. So our award this year is $4.2 million from the HUD, and it's really focused on homeless and homeless prevention programs and in support of housing dollars. Compared to last year, we received in the amount of about $103,000 more than last year's grant award. And, you know, last year we served about 485 county residents. And with this new amount, we're able to increase our case management, linkage for services to prevent homelessness, and keep servicing that population the best that we can. So it is a great grant. We've had it for many years, and we are happy that we're able to receive it again from HUD.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Very good. Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Kowalski.
Thank you, Chairman. Director Anderson, the kitchen funding, number 2, is that for where Meals on Wheels and Meals for Congregate dining areas are prepared, or is that something else?
No, Freeholder Kowalski, this is for the Meals on Wheels location that is located in Linden for their kitchen equipment and services. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. Director Anderson, thank you very much. Thank you. Much apologies to Director Taylor, who I kind of skipped over. So we will go to Director Taylor. Sorry about that.
Not a problem. Good evening, sir, and members of the board. The Department of Finance has 3 resolutions for your consideration this evening, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Very good. Any questions for Director Taylor? I am told that our hands up feature is not really working sufficiently right now. But so if you raise your hand, I see Freeholder Williams, so we'll call on you, Freeholder.
Hi, Director Taylor. Could you give us some additional detail about the HUD money, number 3?
Absolutely. The grant award is for $1.99 million. And this is the second allocation for fiscal year 2020, and it's the ESG COVID grant, federal funds. And they're to provide community programs benefiting low-income Union County residents in the areas of case management, rental payments, through rapid rehousing and homeless prevention.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Garrison, do you have questions for Director Taylor, or was it for Director Anderson? You're good? Okay. All right, anybody else have questions for Director Taylor? Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Director, are you with number 2 on the area plan contract? Do you happen to know how this funding compares with what we've received in previous years?
This is new CARES Act funding, Freeholder. So this is an initial allocation for the $1.2 million.
Okay. All right. From the CARES federal funds that were just started for the pandemic.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Granados, do you have questions?
No, Chairman, I have no questions.
All right, very good. All right, I think we're all set. Director Taylor, thank you. I don't see any other hands. We'll move on to Director Moran, Office of Public Safety. Hi, Director.
Good evening, Chair, members of the board. Department of Public Safety only has one resolution, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Director Moran? It doesn't look like it. All right, Director, thank you.
Thank you.
Moved on to the Office of County Counsel. County Counsel Bergen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The County Counsel's Office has one resolution this evening. I would note, and the amount was changed at the very last minute before the meeting started. So for the public, the actual amount of this resolution is now $366,346.87, and it is related to the project at Oak Ridge. I'll answer any questions if there are any from the board.
Thank you, County Counsel. Are there any questions from the freeholders? Doesn't look like it. Bruce, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, I see we have freeholder-sponsored resolutions. Is there any additions or comments on those before we adjourn? Okay, doesn't look like it. It's in order. All right, I think we're all set with our agenda meeting, so I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Freeholder Granados. Can I have a second, please? Second by Freeholder Kowalski. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned on our agenda meeting. And Jimmy, do you need any time in between, or does anybody else need any time in between before we move into our next meeting, the regular meeting?
Chairman, this is Jim Pelletieri. Just letting you know that I do have a spelling mistake with one of the resolutions appointing an individual to the Union County Improvement Authority. So aside from making that minor grammatical change to the agenda, I am ready and able to go directly into the regular meeting.
Okay. All right, well, let's get right into it then. I call this meeting to order of the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders, Thursday, June 18th, 2020, regular meeting. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Certainly, Chairman. Freeholder Garrettson.
Here.
Freeholder Granados.
Here.
Freeholder Hudak.
Present.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Here.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Here.
Freeholder Staton. Freeholder Williams.
Here.
Vice Chairman Estrada.
Present.
And Chairman Mirabella.
Present.
Chairman, you have 8 freeholders present.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Can you please lead us in the prayer and salute to the flag?
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We're all coming back up. In the meantime, while we're coming up, Clerk, can you please read the statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act?
The chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of the New Jersey statutes annotated, Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances, to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 in the Administration Building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 with the Office of the County Clerk.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on to the approval of communications. May I have a motion to approve the communications?
So moved.
Moved by Freeholder Williams. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Granados. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri.
Aye.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada.
Yes.
And Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
Very good, Mr. Clerk. Thank you. We'll move on to the approval of minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the May 21st agenda meeting and regular meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Freeholder Williams. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Palmieri Muedad. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll. I saw her hand first.
Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yeah.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada.
Staying on both the agenda and the regular.
And Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 7 votes in the affirmative with 1 abstention for both meeting minutes.
Okay. Very good, Mr. Clerk. Thank you. We have 1 ordinance for introduction. Clerk of the Board, please read the ordinance by title.
Certainly, Chairman. Ordinance number 815-2020, an ordinance to amend the Union County Solid Waste Management Plan by including a Class C recycling facility to be owned and operated by Linden Renewable Energy LLC, located at 4900 Tremley Point, Lot 8.02, Block 587, Linden, New Jersey, to accept organic waste or organic substrate and utilize anaerobic digestion to create renewable natural gas, a marketable soil amendment, and liquid digestate that will be processed on site to produce liquid organic fertilizer.
Thank you. I'll invite Freeholder Hudak to make that motion.
Thank you, Chair. I will move ordinance number 815-2020 for first reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise same in accordance with the law. The public hearing and final hearing will be scheduled to be held on July 23rd, 2020.
Thank you, Freeholder. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Williams. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada.
Yes.
And Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
Very good, Mr. Clerk. Thank you. I will need a motion now to suspend the rules to allow the joining of both the public comment on resolutions being offered for adoption and the public comment on any governmental matter that may be of interest to the residents of Union County into one public comment section. May I have a motion for that? Moved by the Vice Chairman. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Seconded by Freeholder Kowalski. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yeah.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada.
Yes.
And Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
All right, thank you very much. The meeting is now open to the public for the purpose of commenting on resolutions being offered for adoption and/or any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of Union County. Now, if you wish to speak, please state your name, adhere to the 5-minute time limit and your town of residence. There will be an indication of that time. At the 4-minute mark, the timer will display yellow, and then at the 5-minute mark, it will be red. Jimmy, I don't know if you want to open it up, and then people can go through their questions. And then if somebody doesn't make their comments, then I know that one person did send their comments in writing. So why don't we open it up to people who have registered to ask questions, and we'll go from there.
Certainly, Chairman. The first person in the queue is a Bruce Patterson. Mr. Patterson.
I'm on, right?
You are.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board. This is Bruce Patterson, Garwood, New Jersey. I'll start off with some general comments, which are actually questions about the voting coming up. I have two questions. On your website, you note there are 4 ballot boxes installed in the county. Where are they actually located for the public to use? And the second question is on the provisionals. We just need some assurance that all provisional ballots will be counted, and we need an explanation as to just what would render a provisional ballot invalid and not be counted. Also, to the executive session at the end of your meeting, the potential settlement agreement concerning Matthews versus County of Union. If somebody could just give me an overview of what that case is about. Onto the resolutions, and the letter I sent in, I actually see I corrected the number of each resolution, so this is the correct number. Resolution number 468. This is awarding Thermo Fisher $244,000 for regents and instrument maintenance for 1 year. To me, it's a wow number. Since it is not to exceed, how much did we actually spend last year and a breakout of what the expenditures for the regents and for the instrument maintenance? Resolution number 473. This resolution is $62 million for Blue Cross Blue Shield and Caremark for county employee health insurance. That works out about $24,000 per employee. My comment is that's larger than 17 out of 21 county towns' municipal budgets. That's just a plain wow number, and this cost really appears to be out of control and really needs to be reined in. Resolution 480. This is a reduction amendment to CMS construction to the original contract of $548,000 for replacing the Tracy Road Bridge. I appreciate Director Graziano explaining what the decrease was. The good news is it's actually a a 20% decrease. So thank you very much for the taxpayers. Resolution 484. This resolution took me by surprise. It's $1.5 million for just project management and design for demolition of the parking deck at the courthouse, the Lair Cummings of Cranford. And it doesn't even include the demolition itself. This looks like it's a potential waste of at least $750,000, since demolition probably will take about 3 months with minimal design required, since it's just demolition, unless somebody can explain exactly what the $1.5 million is. Number 486. This is for $366,000 to the Union County Improvement Authority for the Oak Ridge Park project in Clark. And I'm saying that you're just throwing more money down that black hole of the UCIA. I would like to know what Amendment 4 is about. And I've recommended in the past, as you know, that the UCIA is a patronage pit. It should be dismantled. The director, ex-Freeholder Sullivan, is just a political appointee, and he should really be dismissed from there, and somebody with better leadership in there. So this looks like it's another boondoggle. Number 490. That's for Mr. I can't pronounce his name, Repollet, who his ascension to the presidency of Keene University, and I appreciate it. I've read on him, and he seems to be a crackerjack. That's his name. But anyway, he replaces the past president who was nicknamed Farahi the Fraud for fraudulently padding his resume to get the job. And as president, ruined the credibility of Keene University and so many of his fiascos. So hello, Mr. President Repollet, and good riddance, ex-President Farahi. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, we will move to get through some of these questions. Administrator Dorado, can you speak to the first question on the voting and what could make a provisional ballot invalid or valid?
Yes, I can, and good evening, everybody. I hope you're all well. A couple of things. One, we'll start with the drop boxes. We're going to be announcing the locations of the drop boxes next week. We are expecting delivery of them tomorrow, and pursuant to Governor Murphy's executive order, we're to have 5 located throughout the county. The reason I have not announced them yet is that many municipal buildings also have drop boxes for property tax payments, permit applications, and if a voter were to put their ballot in one of the municipal drop boxes, the ballot would be disapproved because there is a break in the chain of custody. So I know that some of the municipalities where we are putting our drop boxes also have municipal drop boxes. So that is why we have not announced that yet. Like I said, we're expecting delivery tomorrow, and Building Services is very ready to help us with the install on that. And reasons why provisional ballots would be rejected include the voter is not registered, the voter is a registered Republican but wants to vote a Democratic ballot, or vice versa. They're out of the county, their signature name and address do not match what we have on our voter record. So that is just a few of the reasons why a voter, a provisional ballot may not be counted, but all valid provisional ballots will be counted. Also, if a voter was issued a vote by mail ballot and they went and they voted provisional and we received the vote by mail ballot, the provisional ballot will not count. They only get 1 vote.
Okay. Very thorough explanation. Madam Administrator, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
You too. The next one came up on a settlement matter. County Council Bergen, I'm not sure there's much to comment, but there was a question. I don't know if you can speak high level on the generality of that, or it's something that we'll have to wait.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The claim is by an employee against the county under the Federal Fair Labor Standards Act, and that's really all I'm at liberty to talk about at this point. But that is the type of case it is.
All right. Very good. I'm going to ask the county manager or whoever he would like to answer the parking deck question and the Oak Ridge question. I discount some of the comments, but there was one about what the nature of the work was that I believe was valid. But if you can speak to those 2 things, Ed, that will be helpful.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm just waiting for my video to start. There we go. All right. Thank you, Chairman. For the 2 items in question, for 486, that's going to cover some environmental issues that were discovered. And it's also some new soil issues. And for 484, it is not just for the demolition. It also includes the construction. Because of the age and the condition of the building, also its location. It's right on a busy road from Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. It's adjacent to the courthouse. There's going to be some environmental issues because of the age of the building, and also a lot of this work is going to have to be done at night and on the weekends to not interfere with court activities. We can't have a lot of jackhammering going on. Judge can't really conduct session. So this is actually an elaborate demolition with all the components.
Okay. All right. That's very helpful, Ed. Thanks for that. The rest, I believe, were just comments. All right. Jimmy, anybody else in the queue looking to make some comments or questions?
Yes, Chairman. The next person in the queue, and forgive me if I mispronounce the name, Ciro Scalera. Scalera. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Scalera, do you have comments for the board?
I just unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Great. My name is Ciro Scalera. I'm Director of Government Relations for the Laborers Union in New Jersey. We represent 25,000 laborers statewide. I am a Berkeley Heights, Union County resident, and we have 1,890 members who live in Union County. 582 of them who live in Elizabeth and 221 in Linden. So we're very well represented in Union County, the Laborers Union. I'm here tonight really first to thank you for your first reading vote on the Linden Renewable Energy Project. This is a very significant project that's going to have it's going to spur economic development. It's going to create good jobs, and it's very, very good for our environment, not just for Union County, but the region. And so we're supporting that project strongly, and thank you for your first reading approval tonight, freeholders. I'm also here to support the award of a professional contract, management contracts, for the item that was just briefly discussed, the demolition for the parking deck. You know, I'd like to thank the board for pursuing this project. I see it as a win-win, and labor sees it as a win-win. First, it'll enhance county functioning and access to important county services as part of the county complex. That's very important for the citizens of the county. It's going to create good union jobs. And I don't have to tell you all, as we emerge as a state and a county from COVID, it's going to be very important to have infrastructure projects like this that meet a public need, but also provide good construction jobs to help boost our economy. So I would urge you to support that proposal tonight. And, you know, I will be back on the 23rd to support the LRE project again. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Scalero, thank you very much, and glad to have a nice Berkeley Heights resident on the phone. Very nice. Thanks for being here. All right, Jimmy, who's next on the list?
Chairman, the next person in the queue is a Mr. Dennis Toft.
Okay, Mr. Toft, I guess you're trying to get your audio.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Like Mr. Scalera, I'm a proud Berkeley Heights resident, and I'm also here to speak. I'm the counsel for Linden Renewable Energy with the firm of Chiesa, Shanahan, and John Tomasi. So I first of all want to thank you for adopting the ordinance on first reading. I'm here in case any freeholders have any questions about the project, either now or before the second reading. We would be happy to answer them. And putting on my hat as counsel, I also appreciate work being done around the courthouse as a frequent visitor to the courts. Improvements to the parking garage there and in that area will be greatly appreciated. So thank you very much. And if there are any questions about the LRE project, please let me know.
Very good, Mr. Toft. Well, I'll leave that open up to the freeholders, and they can submit questions before the second reading. But I appreciate you being here, and I'll be sure to let Mayor Devaney in Berkeley Heights know that she's been well represented by 2 Berkeley Heights residents.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very nice. Thank you. All right, Mr. Clerk, anybody else on the line?
Chairman, the final individual in our queue is a Joseph Sarno.
All right, very good. The microphone is now to Mr. Sarno if he has questions or comments.
Hey, what's going on, Freeholder Board? Joe Sarno here from Scotch Plains. There are reports right now that some of the vote by mail ballots are actually getting returned back to the voter as opposed to getting returned to the county office. What are we going to do with the county election board to prevent this from happening? The article just came out with the New Jersey Globe, and there are certain things coming out around the county of ballots that are off a little bit. We saw a little bit of that in Berkeley Heights. What are we doing to rectify these issues as they come up here specifically in Union County?
Okay, is that your comment, Mr. Sarno?
That is my comment.
All right, thank you. I'll ask our administrator of the election board to comment to that. I hadn't heard that personally, but let's see, Nicole, if there's anything you can add to that or any kind of answers you can give to Mr. Sarno's question.
Of course, yes, thank you. This is the first I'm hearing about the comments relative to the vote by mail ballots being returned to the voter and not delivered to our address. I'll certainly go on New Jersey Globe right now, look at the article, and reach out to the postmasters in Union County, with whom we've been working very closely. In terms of the issue in Berkeley Heights, it is my understanding, and I don't want to speak for the county clerk, but it is my understanding that it was a printing error and that the Republican voters will be receiving corrective ballots in the mail. Now, in terms of what happens when a voter, a Republican Berkeley Heights voter, returns their ballot to our office, we will, of course, receive and accept their ballot. If they do return a corrective ballot, we will count the corrective ballot and not the original one they returned. So a ballot will be counted for the Berkeley Heights voters.
Okay. All right. Well, let's as you said, Madam Administrator, you're going to investigate that. Please let the county clerk know about this as well, and we'll try to get to the bottom of it.
I will. Thank you.
Very good. I don't know if the county manager has a comment to add to this.
Thank you, Chairman. I do. I just want to let everybody know I pulled up the New Jersey Globe article that Mr. Sarno referenced. It does not reference any county in particular that this is happening in. It just says that the post office returned dozens of ballots across the state to the voter. It does not say any location. So I don't know if it's a Union County issue. It could be anywhere.
Okay. Thank you, County Manager, for that. But we'll check it in nonetheless. But thank you. I appreciate that. Terrific. All right. I think that is our list. Jimmy, is that right? Can you confirm that?
That is correct. I have no other emails that came in to participate, and those are the 4 individuals who have registered for today's meetings.
Very good. So with that, I'll close the public portion, and we will move on to adopt the resolutions. Can I have a motion to adopt resolutions 2024-54 through 2024-89?
So moved.
Chairman, before we go for that, that is
490?
490.
490, sorry.
Yep.
So that's 454 to 490.
Thank you.
Did I hear a Freeholder Williams motion? Can I have a second, please? Freeholder Muedad. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson.
Mute.
Thank you. All yes, with the exception of 486, abstention.
Thank you. Freeholder Granados.
At all.
Freeholder Hudak.
At all.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada.
Yes to all.
And Chairman Mirabella.
Aye to all.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative for all resolutions with the exception of Resolution 2020-486. We have 7 votes in the affirmative and 1 abstention.
All right, very good. Thank you, everyone. We will go on to Freeholder reports and comments, and then we are going to have the need to go into an executive session. So why don't we go into reports first? We'll go into executive session, then we'll come and close out our meeting. Well, I will start with Freeholder Granados. He's in the first leadoff spot here for me that I can see on my screen.
Thank you, Chairman. Once again, I just want to thank our county staff for always going above and beyond during COVID-19 in working with our residents, especially when it comes to public safety, human services, and all departments in general. You truly are making every single resident know that our county administration, our county staff is here to support you and work with you. So we truly thank each one of you for that. And I also want to make mention today, the Supreme Court ruled another major decision in a 5-4 vote in reference to the Trump administration that they cannot carry out its plan to shut down the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, also referred to as DACA, which has allowed nearly 800,000 young people, including as many as 16,000 in New Jersey, known as Dreamers, to avoid deportation and remain in the United States. I think this is something that's really important to all individuals across this country. And this not only allows them to stay here in the United States, which has been home to them for since they were young, it allows them to live, work, study, learn, and contribute to their communities. So I just want to thank the Supreme Court for the decision, but also the many organizations, the many residents, the many individuals and organizations who truly came together in making sure their voices were heard, including Make the Road in New Jersey, who was at the forefront in New Jersey, in making sure that this led to the way it led, in knowing that this country is a country is of accepting of all. So I just want to thank that and thank our Dreamers for continuing to be a major fundamental part of our country. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder Granados. Freeholder Williams.
Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to reiterate what you mentioned at the beginning of our previous meeting, that we are in Pride Month. June is Pride Month, and I encourage everyone, as you did, to go to ucnj.org and take a look at all of the virtual events and lunch and learns that we will be doing. I also concur with Freeholder Granados about this wonderful news regarding our DACA kids here. And the other thing is, as you also noted, it is Juneteenth. It's a special holiday to me because my father was born and raised in Galveston, and there are several events occurring to celebrate and observe Juneteenth. There is one tomorrow in the city of Plainfield at Plainfield City Hall. It's a socially distanced family event, a jump rope competition. It's from 4:30 to 6:30 at Plainfield City Hall on Watchung Avenue. And it's being supported by the city of Plainfield. I'm going to lend my support, and I hope everyone will also in the area will come and enjoy this wonderful activity. That's all from me. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder Williams. Freeholder Mudded.
Thank you, Chair. I will keep my comments short because I'm anxiously awaiting the haircut event later on today. And I would like to just thank you for choosing the YWCA as your charity that you're donating money to. I was speaking with a couple of my colleagues earlier today, and unfortunately the rise in domestic and child abuse is at a high right now, largely in part to COVID and people being at home and not having options to be out of their house. So I'm so glad that we are supporting that, and I was happy to support, and I'm excited to see you all shave your heads and beards. I also want to recognize, I keep doing it, but I'd like to recognize our teachers and our parents. I think my kids are done next Tuesday, so I think that's pretty much the end of the school year for our county. And I want to acknowledge all the hard work that our teachers and administrators put in, as well as our parents being teachers at home. Congratulations to the high school graduates. And I do look forward to seeing some of those graduations happen come July. And with that, I will close my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. It's I think it's worth noting that you were the first person to donate. I mean, all the freeholders donated. We love all of you. I think you were first, but we appreciate all the support from our colleagues. And I'm not as excited as you are because it's going to be quite a shock, I think, when people see my head, but we'll see. But thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Garrettson.
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to start on the eve of Juneteenth, June 10th, our Freedom Day, Celebration Day. The county has a message that will be coming forth. So I'm excited that we are, for the second year in a row, celebrating Juneteenth. But also, I believe there's 6 events that are happening that we'll also be announcing. So they're all around the county, between Elizabeth, Plainfield, Hillside, Roselle, Scotch Plains, Fanwood, and I might have in Roselle. So I'm very, very excited to support, and maybe Rawway. So I'm very excited that we have a number of wonderful, wonderful folks coming together for Juneteenth. And so I do echo all of the sentiments that the Freeholder Board has presented. Second, I want to just save the date. June 30th with the chairman, we are going to do our third annual academic excellence. Information will be forthcoming. We're really excited. We have to make a little bit of some adjustments because that's typically a dinner. I won't say any more. We are working with everyone. So as far as the Freeholder Board, we look forward to all of us showing up and to supporting some of our students on the 30th, but information will be forthcoming. And in the spirit of celebrating amazing students, on behalf of the Freeholder Board and as the liaison for the NJAC or the County Association, I am very pleased to congratulate a young lady, Harshdeep Redhawa, a resident of Roselle Park, who has graduated from the Teacher Education Academy at the Union County Vocational Technical School this year. Harshdeep has received a scholarship award of $500 from the New Jersey Association of Counties through the SHI International Scholarship Program, and she plans to continue her studies at Rutgers University. The scholarship is designed to encourage students to stay in New Jersey. So when we hear about DACA and just so much good work that's happening, I know there's a higher education plan that was released and discussed through the governor's press conference yesterday. The intention is to really keep our students in state safe and healthy, but not just the students, but all of the representatives that work at these institutions. So I just want to again congratulate her on behalf of all the freeholders, and we look forward to not only these wonderful moments for 2020, but you did it. So congratulations, and we look forward to you supporting a number of events, including this month, again, is LGBTQ month, and I'm just so excited to see some really good programming coming forth. So those are my comments this evening, Chairman and Freeholder colleagues. Have a wonderful night, and to the public, be well and see you out there.
All right, thank you, Freeholder Garrettson. I'm really excited about the valedictorian and salutatorium. That's a program that was started a couple of years under your leadership, and see how that program will be moving forward. We've all had to be very creative in our celebrations virtually and all the rest, and I'm glad we didn't lose track of that this year. So thanks for keeping focus on that. These students graduate at the top of their class, and they deserve the recognition that we give them. So very good, excellent. We'll move to Freeholder Hudak.
Thank you, Chair. First, I also want to echo my pleasure with the recent Supreme Court decisions, both on DACA and also the court's decision to extend Title VII of the Civil Rights Act to those individuals who are part of the LGBTQ community. I think it's a good thing that the court, ruled that an employer should not have the right to fire an individual because of their sexual orientation or their gender identity. But in 2020, we required the court to actually say that was the case, and so I think it's a good thing. I just unfortunate that certain parts of the country needed to be told to do so by the court is disappointing. But that being said, very pleased to see that decision from the court as well. Changing gears, I wanted to thank everyone who contributed to the Union County Freeholder Haircut Challenge. During the meeting, we had $8,500 donated to the YWCA. So that's a very good, and we've heard about we all know as members of the board, the great work that this particular charity does, empowering women, fighting domestic violence, stamping out racism. They were a very logical choice to raise money for, and I'm glad to see that the donations hit a high number. There's still an opportunity. The fundraiser is on Facebook, and we hope to get more people to contribute. Maybe, who knows, maybe we hit $9,000, $10,000. In addition, the resolution this evening that we passed regarding restaurants, I think, is a very good thing. in terms of small businesses, the hardest hit in the state one of the hardest hit has been the service industry, and especially the food service industry. Just by in a normal year, 60% of restaurants, which are mostly small businesses, will fail in their first year, and the COVID crisis is really threatening a lot of these small, which honest to God, mom and pop restaurants. So any little thing that we can do to work with the municipalities to give these businesses a better chance to survive through this crisis is a good thing. Lastly, the kids are out of school. Probably you maybe actually hear one of mine in the background. And, we will be coming up to the July 4th holiday very soon. I know there's a film at the VOTEC this weekend, a good kickoff to summer. But since we won't be meeting, I hope before then, I hope everyone has a happy and safe July 4th holiday. I know there's no real firework displays in the county, so everyone, be careful with what you're trying to do at home. We want everyone safe and to have a good time, but also to enjoy this holiday, because I think collectively as a community, we all deserve a really nice July 4th weekend with family, friends, and good spirits. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Freeholder Hudak. We will move on to Freeholder Kowalski.
Thank you, Chairman. I would like to add my thanks to all of our Union County community for rising to the challenge of the public health crisis, especially those who have been at our test site at Kane University. As far as parks, everyone is getting outdoors as much as they can these days, and I think the NACO awards to our Parks Department might have been mentioned before, but I'd like to just say again that these are important efforts by our parks staff. I'm very glad to see that they're being recognized by the National Association of Counties for the Every Kid in the Park, Every Kid Engaged, and Grandma and Grandpa Too program that includes nature walks for seniors and naturalist programs for children, and many other good things. Also engaging children in our history, good work from our Cultural Affairs Office. And I'd like to thank the fire departments of Mountainside, Clark, and Garwood. We had an issue in Echo Lake Park with algae in Echo Lake, which it's not, while dangerous, is not very, well, not being dangerous is not very pleasant. So the fire departments quickly deployed firefighters to come over and shoot water at the lake and break up the algae. So we thank them for that. It's much more pleasant to be in Echo Lake Park right now, thanks to their efforts. And also I would like to congratulate all of our high school and grade school graduates, and special congrats to our VOTEC students. I have a young cousin who graduated from VOTEC this month. So all good work by all, and have a great summer.
Wonderful. Thank you, Freeholder Kowalski. Appreciate that. Vice Chairman Estrada.
Okay, now I'm demuted. Okay. Good afternoon. First of all, I just want to recognize that over the last few weeks, we've been getting letters under the heading as Union County Freeholders, what are you doing to combat police brutality? I can truly say that this didn't start yesterday. The Board of Chosen Freeholder has been working over the last many years in those departments that are part of our responsibility, which is the Union County Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, as well as Corrections. I would advise these individuals that each of those all the municipalities that make up Union County has basically their own police department. So in essence, and the highest law enforcement officer for the county is our prosecutor's office. But we have been working all very closely together. For example, I don't know if they're aware, but body cameras are worn by every single officer that's out there doing the job directly one-on-one with people in the street. And that's something that's very important. That was brought about almost 2 to 3 years ago, where the county put some money up. The prosecutor's office did that as well, and municipalities did it as well to ensure that the transparency that's so important for both the police officers as well as other people who they engage with. So I just wanted to ensure that your letters have not gone to deaf ear. We appreciate it because we have been working on this for a long, long time. Most of our departments have been certified with law enforcement agencies throughout this country. There's no doubt that I'm not going to sit here and tell you there is no problems. We work on these every day. Our high-ranking officers ensure that they're out there watching to see what's going on, and that's part of the everyday needs that we have, and we have to make sure that is happening. And I personally am very confident that that's the case. But saying that does not necessarily mean that we do not have to be vigilant. We all must. Today's world, everybody has a phone. Trust me, it's unbelievable the ramification that a cell phone video has, and that is important to engage both the police and our communities to make sure that we handle all these problems. So number 2, I want to congratulate all of the graduates. My grandson, who lives in Berkeley Heights, graduated from 5th grade. I'm sorry, 8th grade. I have somebody in the back saying, give me the right grades. 8th grade, and I was able to see the virtual graduation. They did a great job. That's the Columbia School. And I tell you, it's amazing. I'm sure that the kids did not want to wait any longer to be in school, okay? They were really ready to go a while back. And I know that there are some high schools that will be having some kind of event in terms of a graduation coming after the month of July. And hopefully some of them may have the opportunity, but we want to make sure we take the time to congratulate all of them. And as far as Al's been saying about getting a haircut, now I don't have much hair to cut at the top. So I do have my son who's volunteered. I forced volunteer my son Danny to provide me the services, which he said earlier, Dad, I have no idea how to do this. I said, yes, that's the ideal person to do the job. Now, I know that possibly my good friend, Sergio Granados, may be bringing somebody in who is expertise. I hope that doesn't happen. And I know that Ed was trying to recruit somebody. So let's see what happens. And by the way, folks, my commander here, Christopher Hudak, that's his hair. He's got a very light hair, so he doesn't look as busy, but he is. That's not his head, that's his hair. All right, folks, again, wishing everyone the best and safe holidays coming up. It's a very important day of the year for this country. And I think, if anything, the same thing with Juneteenth Day, we have to keep perspective of the importance of having freedom and the guarantees that this nation provides. And I'm extremely happy about the DACA individuals who have been heard once again. Unfortunately, they have lost 4 years because their processes stopped, and that's just unacceptable. So hopefully we'll get some resolution. But again, thank you very much for your comments. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Estrada, particularly your words on policing and body cameras. That was an important step. I believe we were the first county in New Jersey where every police department and every officer was equipped with a body camera, which protects the people, and it protects also the officers. So it was a good step in the right direction, and it was good comments. I appreciate it. I do want to make a mention. One of the callers mentioned Kane University and the transfer from President Farahi to Dr. Rapole, who will be coming in soon. it should not be minimized, the contributions that Dr. Farahi has made to that university over the last 14 or 16 years that he's been the president. Just look at that campus. He's transformed that entire campus into a world-class learning institution. He brought the Wenzhou Kane University to light, and so many things. And we should not underestimate what he has done for that university, for the students that have passed through it, and for the students that will pass through it moving forward. He leaves that university in excellent hands, and I'm looking forward to our incoming president and see how he moves that university forward. So I've have nothing but respect for Dr. Farahi and his work as president, and I wish him only the best in retirement. We will have a fitting tribute for President Farahi in the coming months. I wanted to also mention, it never ceases to amaze me the ad hoc committee that Freeholder Williams and I participate on with the LGBTQ office, and some of the ideas for how do we celebrate Pride in 2020 in COVID world. And I guess we all kind of came to the conclusion that, Pride will look different, but we're still proud. And there's so much things planned for the next couple of weeks in June to celebrate and ride out Pride Month, but also continue that effort throughout the rest of the year. So many ideas, we couldn't pack them all in to June. So we're going to kind of continue some of those great ideas moving forward. One of them is the county has prepared banners for each municipality. They just have to ask for it. I mean, I know Scotch Plains has their banner out in front celebrating diversity and LGBTQ and Pride Month, and we will get the word out to the other communities so that they can request their banner and display it proudly by their municipal building. So I'm just delighted with the effort and the plan for moving forward with the LGBT group. I don't want to talk that much more, and we'll save some of our commentary for 7:30 and our haircut challenge, but I appreciate all the work of this board and the encouragement and the support from our female members and from our male members. I mean, it's been a real fun experience, I think, the last month. I had actually had an opportunity to have lunch with a Chubb colleague of mine. He was my manager at the time, and he gave me a check for $100. So we have even more money coming in, Freeholder Hudak, to add to the list. And I'm just delighted with the charity, and people that are tuning in at 7:30 will hear a little bit more about that. The Freeholders eloquently mentioned what that group does to the YWCA and why we pick them as our charity. But it's been a fun last month. Okay, so we do have a need to go into an executive session. So I will ask our county council to make a comment relative to going into that executive session, and then we'll go into it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, a public body may enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing certain enumerated subjects. This board now wishes to enter executive session for the purpose of discussing attorney-client privileged communications and discussions relative to a potential settlement agreement in the matter concerning Matthews versus County of Union. The minutes of the executive session shall be separated from the minutes of the open public session. The minutes of the executive session, redacted as appropriate and necessary, shall be available in approximately 30 days. The clerk of the board shall retain the original minutes until such time as the confidential limitations have been removed, at which time they shall be made available. Upon the affirmative vote of a majority of the members present, the board may retire to executive session. Upon the board's return, it may or may not take formal action on the matters discussed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Bruce, very good. Being that there's no further business by the county, aside from returning from the executive session to adjourn, anyone who is not participating in the executive session will be removed from this Zoom meeting. Once we return from exec, it will be streamed on Facebook so you can see the adjournment. Okay, so with that, I'll ask for a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Moved by Freeholder Hudak and seconded by Freeholder Kowalski. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Certainly, Chairman. Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yeah.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada.
Yes.
Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
Okay, so we're going to exit this Zoom meeting, and I believe there's another dial-in for freeholders to dial into the executive session. All right, thanks to you all in a little bit. Okay, we are out of executive session. May I have a motion to go back into open session?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Williams, seconded by Freeholder Granados. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Certainly, Chairman. Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yeah.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada.
Yes.
And Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, that's 8 votes in the affirmative to return to the regular meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. County Council, any comment relative to our executive session?
Nothing to report at this time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Bergen. I will enter